Today I'll be revisiting how I approach painting rust using only acrylic paints, starting with a reddish-brown wash, diluting the paint with water in a 3:1 ratio. I'll be spreading this evenly, and while I do want pulling on the recesses for a more intense tone, the flatter parts I just want to add a hint of color. Though a small amount of pulling here and there doesn't hurt to later create some accumulations of rust. While there are products specifically designed to replicate rust, I know we don't all count with the same budget for our hobby. My aim is to show you not the simplest or fastest way, but one you can easily replicate and which you can put more or less work on depending on the results you're after. Without losing much of the metallic shine, I've already established a general rusty hue. I wanted a bit more darkness on my rust, though not too much, so diluting a dark brown in a 6:1 ratio, I applied a very thin wash which will give me just a subtle darkening mostly on the recesses due to how diluted it is. Color variety provides more interest and realism to a paint job, but that doesn't mean that a single orange wash followed by a metallic dry brush isn't a valid way of painting. Different methods will suit different people and their time schedules. While very subtle, the wash did change the overall look. Now it's time to actually work on the rust itself. While I initially went for a 3:1 ratio, now I have 2 parts paint, one of orange and another of reddish brown. Instead of adding 6 drops of water to achieve a similar wash as the beginning, I opted for 5 just to make it a bit more intense. This wash was applied directly into the recesses and dents. If at any point you find too much paint left your brush, just dry it up on a paper towel and snatch up any excess by simply touching the pool of paint. You'll see me do this a lot, especially on the flatter areas where I want to create little patches of color. Already the metallics are looking rusty and I am yet to use pure orange. Moving into pure orange, I'll intensify the rust. Dilution could have been 3:1, but I went for an extra drop of water and applied a pair of layers instead of one. This way I'll achieve both a high value as well as a better transition from the previous layer into this new color. The application was aimed exclusively at the recesses and dents as before, but not all of them. And just as before, if at any point I saw too much paint, I just dried up my brush and cleaned off the excess. There is the possibility of delving into yellowish tones, and in this case I just went up to adding a pinch of yellow straight into the diluted orange. Though as we go brighter, less is more, and as I saw the paint slowly creep up due to capillary action, I quickly went ahead and cleaned off most of it. With that done, here is how the rust ended up looking. and the metallics did preserve its shine on the edges and raised details, due to having worked with diluted paint which flowed away from them. I did wanted to showcase some highlighting to represent more recent scratches, for example, though I sadly forgot to turn on my camera, so I'll go over it again, though at this point I'm mostly overdoing it. Firstly, a quick dry brush is a great way to catch up any small details such as rivets and edges in general. But more eye-catching are the scratches on the blade. These were done very easily using a sponge. I picked up some paint, removed a bit of it on a paper towel and brushed it in the direction I wanted the scratches to appear. A beat-up brush with split strands could be used also, but the sponge will always provide consistent thin scratches. I hope you found the video helpful. Special thanks to my patrons old and new who made this series possible. If you enjoy my content, please consider liking, subscribing or even leaving a comment. It all helps me reaching new painters all over the world. But that is all for today. Hope to see you again next week.